Hello fellow YouTubers, this will be our final video for 2023 and we are finishing the year off with one of our most asked for videos. This is part 2 of our series on how to remove the exterior door handles on the second generation NSX and to replace it with our bespoke carbon fiber versions. If you have not seen part 1 of the video, here's a link to it below, and we also ask that you check out the comment section if you need a link. Watch this video first, as this shows you how to remove the door panels to gain access, and this is where this video takes over. This is one of our most popular modifications for the NSX because it's pretty seamless, it works like OEM, and it feels like OEM. This goes well with our carbon mirror caps, carbon side skirts, carbon hood vents, and looks like something that Acura designed, not something you added aftermarket. The feel of this piece is amazing because unlike wraps, you don't feel any of the seams behind the handle, so it's a totally smooth piece. Here side by side you can see the vinyl wrap pieces on the top and then the carbon pieces on the bottom. You could vinyl wrap it, it works well from a distance, but up close and if you're touching the handles, you definitely know the difference between the two. The factory handles, the reason they're so nice is because they're smooth, and our carbon pieces are as smooth as those, so you would not feel any seams or anything when you touch these particular handles. And they do look really nice. You can see here in some of the photos in the sunlight that they just look factory. Alright, the door handle is hidden. There's a lot of bolts, all 10 millimeters. So get yourself a nice little extension socket like this. There's going to be one in here we took out. There's one in here. And there's one more that's hidden behind this. So when you pull this out like this, you're going to see a piece of plastic. Remove the sticker carefully, and there's another 10 millimeter bolt. So that's 1, 2, 3. And then the fourth one is actually hidden inside. I'll see if I can show you inside here. There's one inside there as well. Yeah, right there. So let's get these bolts out, and I think we're gonna have to remove this lock mechanism too, which is Torx bits here, to get the whole assembly out. When you guys are looking at this, the best way is to overlay the stock piece so you can kind of see it here. You can see the bolts right there. That one right there is gonna be this one up here at the top. Bottom one is this one here at the bottom. And then you got the two, and then the one on the inside, which we were looking at from there. All right, so looking at the door panel here, we've removed this. We took the 10 millimeter bolts out. There's 4 10 millimeter bolts, right? And after we remove the 4 10 millimeter bolts on the inside in the hose, the next step, we remove the T30 bit. So there's 3 of them here. This allows the hinge mechanism to drop down. When the hinge mechanism drops down, then you can pull the factory handle out. So what we're gonna do here is, you can see the factory handle is unplugged. There's 3 plugs, so we're gonna pull it out through here. And once it's out, we're gonna slide it out this way, like this. And I'll show you out here visually. So here's a handle if it was sitting here, right? So you remove the 2 bolts here, so that's 4 bolts. You unplug the wiring harness there, and there's 2 more plugs there. These are all keyed, so you can't reverse them, so you don't have to worry, the big plug and the little plug. Then what happens is this piece of metal is sitting like this. So the reason you need to take these 3 bolts out, the mechanism drops down that releases this metal, and then you can take it out. If you don't drop this, the metal is gonna be sitting like that, and you can't remove it. So by removing it, it slides out, then you can remove it out. So we pulled out the factory piece. We're gonna set this aside. And then now we're going to, you can see all the plugs, we're gonna go grab the carbon one, we're gonna put it back in and see what it looks like. All right, carbon handle here. We protected it with tape before we stick it in. A couple pieces of tips. Don't go crazy with the blue tape, because if this thing fits really tight on the other side of the door, if you tape this thing too well, after you slide it through, you're not gonna be able to get the tape off. So this is our second attempt, but I basically tape just the surface area so you don't wanna scratch the carbon. And then we're gonna reach in here like this. And then we're gonna go up exactly the same way you removed it. I know you guys can't see this, so I'm gonna put this in and then I'll show you how it looks. Okay, really quick, those bits over here that hold the door latch in place, we're just gonna finger tighten them. I should mention these earlier, but these are T30, so I just have a T30 bit. We're just gonna tighten these by hand for right now. I wanna show you what's going on inside first. So a couple tips. Okay, let's get in here so we can focus on it. All right, so the reason we need to take the door latch off is because this piece right here, I'm gonna try to point to it in here. So you see this metal thing right here? This thing's coming down from the door handle. It has to go through this little hole right there, the yellow hole. You see that? But it's not gonna drop through if you don't take that latch off. So this whole black assembly here is a latch. So I'm gonna take the latch assembly off, this thing right here, right? This black thing. So this black thing's the assembly. We're gonna drop it down, then this rod pops out. And then when that pops out, that gives you the door assembly above. You can see it's being held in place by a total of 6 10mm bolts. So we're gonna bolt it back in right now, and then we'll see what it looks like. All right, with the handle pretty much in, we're just gonna remove all the blue tape. You can see why we did the blue tape. Really important, because you don't want to scratch anything here, even if you had PPF on the car. So we're just gonna pull all the tape off. And remember, we're gonna plug the battery back in. All right, so here we got the passenger door. If you guys are still here with us, good news is the passenger door is a lot easier than the driver door. The main reason is you don't have the cylinder lock mechanism, which is in the way. So if you look at the picture, it's a lot more open inside. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna remove the last couple T30 bolts here. Once these are removed, that'll give you space to drop the door lock mechanism. All right, let's take this last one out. Okay. Now we can pull the mechanism out from inside. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna drop the cylinder, so that'll come down. Set this module aside. This is the thing that was sitting right here. So the door lock hinge locks here. And we'll let this set aside here. And we're gonna reach in here. We're gonna grab the main door handle now. Remember, there's 4 bolts holding the handle in place. And you want to tape it up to protect it. So here we go. It's still tight. It's not as tight as the driver's side, but it's still very, very tight. So take your time here. The module has to slide out from this side. And then now's a good time to unplug the 2 connectors at the bottom. Carefully remove the handle. There you go, so that's the handle. So we're gonna remove this one, and we're gonna swap in the carbon handle next. All right, so looking at the handles on the bench, you know, this one is vinyl wrapped. This one is OEM. We're starting to pull the vinyl wrap off. This one is the full carbon one. So you can see the differences in them. The full carbon one's nice because it goes all the way around. So when you touch it back here, it all feels like carbon back on the back side of the handle. You see that right there? All right, so, but it's important when you're installing these to protect it, because you're gonna, you know, bound to scrape it a few times when you're putting it in the car because it's so tight. So definitely protect it with tape. We use the blue tape. Protect the edges, wrap it around like this. You can pull it off later, but for now, the important thing is making sure not to scratch it. So there we go. We're gonna go all the way around the edge. We're gonna protect this piece as well. Don't go crazy with the tape, because otherwise you're gonna have trouble removing it. But the goal is to just make sure that you don't scratch any of the beautiful carbon. Okay, so like that, we're gonna protect it. So it looks like that. Okay, so now we can go put it in the car because we don't have to worry so much about the edge as much. I would put an extra piece on the corners. The corners tend to get most of the abrasion. Again, this can be easily pulled off later. So, there you go. Okay, so that's it. We'll go back to the car. All right, a couple of final things to note. As you put the door back together, make sure there's no missing parts. And we're gonna tighten these all by hand. And then we're gonna check inside. Make sure you have all the harnesses plugged in. There's 3 of them for the door panel itself. We already tightened all the 10mm bolts, so we're gonna put the little sticker back on. This is that clear sticker that protects this particular one. So it's like that. This piece goes back on, snaps in there, locks in. That hides that 1 bolt, so you got 1, 2, 3. The 4th one is inside, right? So we plugged it in, checked inside, everything's plugged in. Actuators installed. Take all the tape off. This pretty much concludes the door install. So let's go to the other side and we'll show you what it looks like. But let's put this piece back on. This piece has a clip there, so put that clip in. It sticks in all the way across, and then clip this one in right here. Okay. Don't forget the 2 plastic clips that we removed earlier. There's one that goes here, one that goes here. So now the doors are back together, ready for installation. We're gonna put this back in a minute. So make sure everything's good. And let's take a look at how the door looks from the other side. All right, so with the handles fully installed, you can kind of take a look here what it looks like from the outside. No longer do you have those seams from, wrapped handles. Pretty much this is a 1-hole carbon piece. You walk up to the vehicle. It's pretty clean looking, looks OEM. It'll pop open when you press the key fob, or it'll pop open automatically depending how you set up the vehicle. And if you look at it from the back end here, you can see it's smooth, so your fingers don't feel anything. Pretty much feels like one piece. So there you have it. We've installed these handles on pretty much every color 2nd generation NSX out there. So if you don't see something here, you want to see them on a specific color, shoot us an email. We may have that particular picture for you. But this just gives you an idea of some of the colors, from the Novella Blue to the Casino White to the Gotham Gray, and then as well as the Curva Red. So pretty much you can see these handles work well in pretty much any color vehicle. So questions, let us know. Thank you for watching this video. This concludes our installation of the exterior door handles for the 2nd generation NSX. If you guys need help installing these, you can shoot us an email. We may know a local shop that can help you, assist you in putting these on. We know that most local dealerships should be able to do this install, but not all Acura dealers. So please call ahead and check with them if you're going to have the Acura dealer do the installation. Thank you again.